That's so nice. Yeah, we're doing it. Look at this. This room is too big. All right. I'm not used to this. I'm used to comedy clubs where you guys are like right there. There's so much. I could like stage dive. Like that's insane. I won't. I promise. I won't. Be like, no, please don't. That's what I like about my audience. You throw something out there like that. They're like, dude, good God, don't do that. Are you kidding? I have a stiff neck. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This is wonderful. I don't do theaters. This is a new thing. So they're like, we're going to do a theater in Portland on Valentine's Day. And I was like, you can try. Let's see what happens. And then they're like, it filled up. And I'm like, are you kidding? And they're like, yeah, we're going to add a second show. And I'm like, dare we? It's not, what a crazy world we're living. I'll take it, I'll take it. I turn on the news and I'm like, good Lord. But then I'm like, things are going good for me, I guess. Isn't that the worst selfish thing you can do? You're like, all right, well, I gotta go perform at a theater, I guess. I love this. I don't know if there's people sitting up there, but I hope they are. Wouldn't that be great? Just like the CEO of Aladdin Theater or whatever. Those are the skyboxes up there. It's wonderful. It's nice to be here on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is one of those. It's one of those days like I was talking to my buddy Mark in the back, and it's like one of those days like you can be in a committed relationship, and if you don't ask the person you're with if you want to, they'll be like, will you be my Valentine? Like they're like, why did you forget Valentine's Day? And I'm like, we're married. Like what do you? It'd be like getting pulled over by the cops and they're like, where's your driver's permit? And you're like, I have a license. Like, why would I get you cheap chocolate from a gas station? We're in this. We're already doing it. I don't know. It's, but yeah, I'm glad everyone came out. I know it snowed and that's different here. I got a lot of emails. I got a ton of emails, and they're like, is the show still happening? Is it canceled? And I'm like, well, I'm on a flight, so we're going to go. We're going to find out. No one's in charge. That's what I've realized. I'm kind of in charge, and I don't even know that I'm in charge. Like, if there's some sort of a, like event, and they're like, is the show going to happen? And then people look at me, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, isn't there someone above me? And they're like, no, there isn't. And I'm like, I shouldn't be in charge. Who the hell put me in charge? It should be someone else. I put it up to Delta. If Delta says I can get to town, if Ed Bastian, the CEO of Delta, says my flight is going to land, then I guess the show's happening. He's my boss. That's what that is. But yeah, it was fun. We landed. I had an Uber driver tell me, he's like, if you would have landed like 3 hours before, you wouldn't have gotten an Uber. And I was like, all right. Yeah, you guys always have, like, I've noticed that. I've been to Portland many times, and you guys have Uber drivers that, they're like, you're going to hear our story. Like, it almost feels like that's why they took the job. Like, no one's listening to me at the coffee shop. They're gonna listen to me when they're in my damn car, I'll tell you that. And it's so weird. Like, your Uber drivers, I can't even tell where they lie politically. They're kind of all over the place, because they'll say one thing, and you know how you, like, try to guess someone's politics, like, when you first meet them, and they'll say one thing, you're like, oh. And then they say another thing, you're like, what? And they say a third thing, you're like, oh, you're not allowed to vote. All right, I get it. It just kind of pieces together. All right. Yeah, man, I had a guy, every one of them, but no, he was cool. We made it. It snowed. I was in California where it rained. We had an atmospheric river. That's what they call them now. And I had to drive from San Diego past LA. It was supposed to be like a 3-hour drive because of the rain. It was like 4.5. It's longer, whatever, traffic. And they were like, I was making fun of it on the news because my wife was like, don't drive. They said it's a big storm. Isn't your show canceled? And I'm like, no, I'm in charge. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try to drive up there. And and I went and I was making fun of it because she's like, it's an atmospheric river. I'm like, it's just heavy rain. You don't have to call it an atmospheric. It's an atmospheric river. They picked up the mighty Mississippi and drizzled it down. It's an atmospheric river. It's just gonna rain a lot, all right? Just say it's gonna rain a lot. But then I was on the freeway and I was like, man, this is an atmospheric river. Like this, it was so much rain. It was the kind of rain where you have your wipers on full blast and you're like, I need one more notch. It's the kind of rain where you're like, I can't see any of that car except for a faint taillight, so I guess I'll just keep going. Driving in heavy rain like that, that's kind of like going to the bathroom at night at a hotel where you're like, I don't know, but I gotta go. We're just gonna keep moving forward till I bump into something. But no matter what happens, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. That's what it's like to drive in heavy rain like that, man. But yeah, it's nice. I'm happy we're doing this on Valentine's Day. I'm in a committed, happy marriage relationships, which is nice. Yeah. Congratulations to all the other people that are in those, and if you're not, don't worry, that's also great. It's all great. Everyone's good. Yeah, we're in a good, I think the thing I love about my marriage the most is like we argue really well. I know that might be a weird one to identify, but I think like when we argue, I can tell it's like leading towards something positive. Like, and I feel good about it. Right in the heat of it, we'll be like, and I'm like, this is healthy. I don't know if you've ever had those arguments where like at the end of this is going to be a nice conclusion. We're both going to learn about each other. I don't know. Like we've both been to therapy, so we know how to argue. Like I've learned that I have to acknowledge your feelings, which that's a big one. You know, I used to just argue about the facts like an idiot. That's not what it's about, all right? It's about facts and how she feels about them. And like an idiot, I was there like, I never said that, you know? And my therapist helped me out. My therapist was like, have you ever just tried acknowledging your feelings? I was like, why would I do that? And not saying like, why would I acknowledge your feelings ever, but in an argument. That's not feelings time. That's how my brain works. There's facts time, then there's feelings time. And I didn't know that those two intermingle, you know? Like for me, feelings time is on the couch where I'm like, oh, I love you, I love our life. And then argument time is, I never said that. That's not what I said. But I can be honest with you, it works. It works. Like I acknowledge her feelings, so I know how to argue. Like she was like, but you said, and then I was like, I'm so sorry I made you feel that way. That must feel horrible to feel that way, and I feel awful that I had any part in making you feel that way. And she's like, thank you. And I'm like, oh yeah, it works. It works. And then I was like, but for the record, I never said that. All right. All I've really done is I've moved the apology from the back to the front. And then we can have the regular argument after the fact. But I've noticed that really helps. But she knows how to argue with me too. She's really good at it. She knows how to express her feelings. That's really important. I think the only note we have for each other is we don't like each other's tone. I think every time like an argument ends, one of us will say to the other, I don't think you said anything wrong. I just didn't care for your tone. My wife and I, we're like a band that's been together for 5 years, and we put out a couple albums. They've been good albums, but on this next album, we're really trying to dial in our tone, you know? We're really trying to get a good, meaty dum-da-da-lum-dum-dum-da-da-lum-dum, and right now it's a but with the right producer, we're going to get that mid-treble up, and it's going to be a good dum-da-da-lum-dum-dum-da-da-lum instead of a just like your mother. You know? For the record, that's me in the argument. I get pretty shrill when I'm frustrated. But no, I like it. I like us being like it's a good mix. Like I don't know. Like, intimacy changes. That changes over time. I love it. Like when you're first together, anything will lead to it. You know, anything will lead to intimacy. Your elbows will touch, and I'll be like, "Is it gonna happen?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, it's happening! Wow!" And now it still happens, but not from elbow touch, and it's just like the most random. It's even more exciting now because when it happens, I'm like, "From that." Okay. Now our elbows touch. She's like, "You need to lotion your elbows." And I'm like, "I don't want to do that." Like, my wife thinks she wants me with lotioned elbows until she actually catches me in the mirror just... What the hell are you doing? You said I had dry elbows. I'm lotioning them up. Yeah, the last time it happened, it was just out of nowhere. We were in the garage. We were breaking down cardboard boxes, getting ready for recycling the next day. We weren't dressed for the occasion. We're just wearing baggy sweatpants. We're just out there working. And she got an Amazon package, and I pulled it in, and I was like, "What'd you order?" And I opened it, and there was a bunch of these dumb little jars, like little glass, like jars. Yeah, she was pumped about these jars. And I was like, "What's up with these jars?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to make us overnight oats, and then we can have healthy breakfasts in the morning. I'm going to make them the night before, and then we can have a nice healthy breakfast." And she was so excited about it. And I was just looking at them, and she's like, "You don't like my jars?" And I'm like, "No, they're fine." And she's like, "You know, I can make a lot of other stuff with them, too." I'm like, they're fine. They're dumb little jars. You enjoy them. Let's just leave it at that." She's like, no, like, I can make pre-made meals. You could travel with them. You talk about not being able to eat healthy when you travel. I could make pre-little made meals. And I'm like, "Oh, like a tuna salad?" And she's like, "Yeah, I can make tuna salad. I could put a little like chicken with like sweet potato in there." And I'm like, "Oh, all right." And I'm like, "Oh, I got that little carrying case we could put ice packs in there, and I could check that luggage." And she's like, "Yeah, and you have microwaves in the hotel room." And I was like, "Is it microwave safe?" She's like, "It is microwave safe." And I was like, "All right." She's like, "So you're into the jars?" And I'm like, "Man, I think I'm into these jars." And then she just grabbed me and she started kissing me. And then I'm like, "Is this happening?" And it did. Right there in the garage from the jars. And I'm like, "This is actually more exciting than the elbows, if you ask me." But no, things are well. We moved back to San Diego. That's what we did. We moved to New York for a little bit. We lived there for a year and a half, and then we moved back to San Diego because I love New York, but my wife hated it. And that's how marriage works. That's how that breakdown works. We both get a vote, but they're like electoral votes, you know? She's California. I'm Delaware. And it's like I still get them, but they're more ceremonial than anything. But it was fun. I enjoyed living in New York for the short time we did. I got to learn about seasonal depression. That was cool. You guys know about that. Yeah. I didn't know about that. I grew up in San Diego like an idiot. I had no idea all these years that all our joy came from the sun. I had no idea. When we'd heard the rumor of seasonal depression, and we'd make fun of it. Like, what? You guys get sad because the sun goes away? Yeah, that's exactly how that goes down. I never pieced it together growing up in San Diego that sometimes I would be in my house sad, and then I'd go outside and the sun would be like, "How you doing, buddy? Were you sad in there? Worried about life? Let me sizzle those worries away." Sizzle, sizzle. That's not what the clouds do. You go outside, the clouds are like, "Everything you're worried about is true." All right? They really let you know. That's where all the joy comes from, man. Vitamin D. You ever see someone with a lot of moles? That's not bad. That's just happiness receptors. That's all that is. See someone with a lot of freckles and stuff, you're like, "Oh, they're just getting a healthy amount of vitamin D." That's all they're doing. I mean, still get them checked out, but, you know, like, I think it just means you're doing well emotionally. But yeah, so we moved back, and I like it. You know, it's cool. We're living the suburban life, which I enjoy. We're renting a little house in a neighborhood. I'm on the Citizens app, which is, I don't know if you guys Citizens app, but I didn't know about it, and I'm on it all the time. They let you know what's going on in your neighborhood, and you're like, I had no idea that was happening right there. They'll be like, there's a naked man down the street, and I'm like, what? I would have never known there was a naked man down the street. Here I'm like, oh, this neighborhood's so boring. There's someone nude out there, just shaking about. And then they have a button there that's like, do you want to go report it? And like, you can go out there and you can film whatever the disturbance that's, like, if it happens close enough to you, they're like, do you want to hit the camera feature and go film it and fulfill your dreams of being a local news reporter? Do you want to? And I always want to hit it. I'm like, I'm going to go. My wife's like, don't do that. What the hell's the matter with you? And I'm like, oh, all right, but I could be out there like, I'm reporting. It's weird. I'm all into the Citizens app, and then like last week they let me know that a registered sex offender moved into my neighborhood, and they're like, if you want to know, I was like, do you want to know his name and his address? And I was like, yeah. And I went to click on him, and they asked me if I wanted to sign up for premium. They put that information behind a paywall, and I'm like, you can't monetize pedophiles. Like, that's for Spotify. Like, what are we doing here? You can't. That's not the Citizens app. But no, I'm enjoying the whole living in the suburbs thing. It's cool. It's cool. We got a car. We drive a Tesla. We got it before. We got it before all the Hail Hitlers. That was, yeah, we're like, oh, no, oh. He did it twice. That was my reaction to it. Oh, no, oh. And we tried to return it. We're like, I don't want this lease anymore. And they just kept yelling 9. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? So we're in the Tesla, and I didn't want it. My wife was like, no, this is a good car. It's good for the environment, and then we can drive it. And it's a good car. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't. And she's like, why don't we want it? I'm like, I just don't like him. I don't like his face. And she, yeah. But my wife made a good point. She's like, well, he's not going to be in the car. And I'm like, yeah, but are you sure? You know? Like, my fear is there's going to be a medical, like, not a medical issue, but a mechanical issue, and then we're going to pull over and his face is going to pop up on that big screen. Looks like we had an oopsie. And I'm like, oh, get the hell out of here. But it is it's the fanciest car I've ever had. We have our separate profiles. The Tesla's not the only one. A bunch of the new cars, I rent them. You have different profiles. My wife and I, she has her profile, Emma, and I have my Zoltan profile, and it remembers like our seat adjustments, which is stupid because we're near the same height. So I'll just get in the car and I'll be like, oh, it says Emma. No, Zoltan's here. And it'll just go burnt right there. I'll be like, yeah, that's where I belong right there. I can see no blind spot anymore. That's where I belong. It's a fancy car. It's got seat warmers. First car I've ever had was seat warmers. And I don't know about you guys. That's pretty much a laxative for me. I had no idea. That's all I needed all these years. I'm going down to the coffee shop. All I needed was a heat pad on my kidneys. That's all I needed. I wonder if my neighbors noticed that the first week we had the car, I'd leave and then do a quick U-turn. And then my car's parked ajar in the driveway while I'm running back in the house. That's so dumb.
Hello, this is Zoltan Kaszas, and the year is 2025. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that mind-blowing? If you were just sent in from the past to the future, and this is how you're finding out the year, I'm sorry to be the Behringer of bad news. What the hell am I talking about? The point of this is I am on tour all year. It's what I do. A bunch of cities. I'm very excited to hit them all. If you'd like to see if I'm coming to a town near you, go to my website, zoltancomedy.com. There also might be a link in this video, maybe right over my eyes. I don't know what the editor is going to do with this. It could be in the description, what have you. But if it's not, Zoltan Comedy, comedy.com. Hit the shows tab, go down the list of shows, see if I'm coming to a town near you, and come see me so I can continue being a comedian and I don't have to go get a job where I'm a horrible employee. I've been told many times by numerous bosses. So please come out and see me and keep the dream alive.
Hey, yeah? Look at us, we're out. Okay, I like it. We got the energy in here like we should have bought tickets to the 7 o'clock. I like it. This is a real 7 o'clock, but it was sold out, so we got the 9 o'clock, and we're really trying to rally, you know? Well, I appreciate you coming down here to this part of Austin, because I'm going to assume people that like my comedy, you guys aren't going to be hanging around much longer after the show. This is we're dipping into town to see him, and then we're going to try to dip right out of town without getting any on us. Listen, I'm right there with you. Like, I like being around fun, and then I see it, I'm like, well, I don't want to do any of that. And I'm not like, I don't know, I'm like, well, those kids are like 21, I'm 38, I'm not that far away, but I'm far enough away to be like, man, I don't know if I was ever that fun. Like, to just wear boots with shorts? I've never done that. Like, what kind of wild child do we put on boots with shorts? Are there no laws? Like, what? Thank you. It's coming around. We're getting there. There's a weird laugh off to the side. Boots with shorts? That's the state flag, you know? This is where we've come. We got AC on the inside. We got a bear on stage for no reason. I don't know if this fits my motif, you know? I don't know if I have the amount of testosterone to just talk in front of a bear, you know? That's a certain type of man to just talk in front of a bear. Society's going in the wrong direction. I really need your votes this quarter, otherwise they're gonna come in and make the drag queens read to your kids. You know, youth today, they don't even know how to gut and quarter a bear. And I want to change that. Vote for Zoltan. Thank you. I don't know. We were silly. We were having fun. You can clap later. That's okay. That's why I like my audience. People are like, yeah, that's enough of that. I do like the bear. I don't know. Because I like to hike. My wife likes to hike. And then I'm like, we should know what you do in case you see one. Because they are all different rules. They're all very different. Like a bear, like a mountain lion, you're supposed to go, whoa, get out of here. Yeah. Yeah. You damn cat. Like, I think you're supposed to do that. Some version of that. And then a bear, you're just supposed to beg, I think. Hey, come on. Come on, don't. Aww. No, don't, please. What weak last words, you know? Oh, no. No, yeah, that thing would take us all down. I don't know if it's real, but... Oh boy, I just made eye contact with that, and I gotta tell you, I didn't like what I felt in my knees. I'll tell you that. That made me feel weak. That is weird. That is weird to, like, we only stuff animals, like, and you're like, yeah, I killed that thing. And you're like, and you kept it, huh? Yeah, I kept it, and then I positioned it, and then now it's in my living room. And you're like, wow, can I leave? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm pro hunting. I like that as long as you eat it. You know, eat the food. I don't know if they ate that bear, or if I don't know if you eat bear. I don't know what that would taste like. Probably a certain time of the year. Oh, you gotta get them. You know those people that know so much. Oh no, yeah, anything before February you gotta throw out, and you're like, man, you know way too much about carcasses. You ever get into a conversation with someone, you're like, I regret it, but we're too deep. And you have no knowledge of the thing they're talking about, so you're just, you gotta look out. So if there's spots on the liver, we can't eat that. All right, I'll remember that. I'll remember that the next time I shoot a bear. When that happens, I'll remember that. I think hunting's all right. I don't like the big game hunting, like where they go to Africa and shoot like an elephant or something. And I'm like, nah, don't do that. There's not that many of them, you know? We're just trying to hold on to a few. You know, but then people have their reasons for it. I used to work at this mechanic shop, and one of our customers was a big game hunter. He used to go to Africa and shoot like lions and stuff, and he'd have them stuffed in his house. But he wouldn't call himself a hunter. He would say, I'm a conservationist. That's what they call themselves. And because I didn't know this, he's like, they have to buy a tag. You have to like buy a tag in an auction, and you spend like $100,000 to go, and they let you go shoot a lion, and then that money goes to like the park to help fund the rest of the park. So he's like, you understand, I'm not a hunter. I'm a conservationist because the money I spend helped to go fund the park. And I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, that's true. But that's also like saying, yeah, I fly to Thailand to sleep with prostitutes, but you have to understand the money that I give them, that goes to help their families. And so if you look at it that way, I'm not a pervert, I'm a philanthropist. Taking time out of my day to... We all do it. We're all hypocrites, but that is fun to go learn big words to justify the thing you do. But I do enjoy Austin. I like coming here. This is a popular town. You guys are the it. I don't know if you guys know it. You guys are the it town, and everyone's here. It's a weird mishmash of people that look like they shouldn't know each other, and it's all here. There's like a weird mix. There's like original Austin people, and you can see them. Every once in a while they'll sprout up, and you'll be like, oh, that guy's been here since the beginning, you know? There's a certain look to original Austin people. It's kind of like a King of the Hill type character, you know, like... Not one of the major four, not the big four, but you know those offshoot characters that would show up and like date Luann? Like, remember those guys? That's like an original Austin, like a Bucky, you know, just come in with long hair. And then it just became like it's like everybody. There's like jack dudes here for no reason. Just ripped, just wide shoulder, baby shorts, just walking around. Just huge, shorts up to here, mustache. I'm straight. And it's just... the whole thing says they're not, but they are. That's how straight they are, that they look like they're not at all. Just ripped quads. They have like legs with abs on them, and they're proud. Just little baby shorts. And I'm like, man, I wish I had legs like that to wear some baby shorts. With like testosterone confidence. Like it's a real hey, what about my little shorts? And I'm like, I won't say anything about him here, but I am gonna give a speech next to a bear later, and I'm gonna bring up your baby shorts during that time. I saw a guy going up the stairs with his baby shorts, and he was skipping a step, and I'm like, man, I hope he's like wearing a codpiece or something under there. Those are too wide of steps to be taken in such baby shorts. You might lose a piece of luggage doing that. You can't do that. That's going to be a write-up from the local authorities or something. But yeah, it's an odd mix. It's like that, and then there's like computer, like text, like so much computer guys walking around. That's not the term, but you know what I mean. There's like tech guys walking around with their polo shirts. They all have little key cards off their... That's how you know they work at a job where you're like, whoa, you're like making the stuff, aren't you? They go in, you know? That's a real job. That's one of those jobs where I'm like, I'm glad I have this job because there's no way I'd have one of those jobs, you know? There's no way. I would love to, but I don't think I'd ever have like a whoosh, whoosh. Oh, here comes Zoltan. He's our systems analyst. And how's the system looking? Looking strong, tell you that. Looking strong, analyzing the system. Tell you what, it's going to look a lot better after I get my hands on it. You know what I mean? Catch you guys later. I don't have a job, but that sounded like I did right there, doesn't it? That's like a guy who doesn't know anything about his job, but he walks through, and you're like, what does that guy do? And they're like, we don't know. We don't know, but he's kind, and he leaves in time. You don't catch on to his nonsense, you know? It's one of those guys. But yeah, it's like... There's a lot of like techie guys, like computer nerdy guys walking around, and it's like because the original motto of Austin was like, keep Austin weird, and then these computer guys came in and they're like, weird like us, and you're like, yeah, why not? You guys are pretty kooky. Why don't you get on in here? Why don't you talk to us without blinking a little? Yeah. It's a fun mix. I don't know. I was actually thinking about this today. Austin is like this weird little blip in the United States where it's like a little bit of everybody. It's a little bit of everybody all living together. If you think about it, because I know Texas is a red state, but it's a blue dot in a red state. But there's red with the blue, with the tech, with the bloop, with the kettlebell people, and then there's like hippies selling trash on the outskirts. There's like. It's like a little bit everything. There's like nature, but then there's city, and there's homeless people, and then you can go kayak. Like it's a little bit of everything, all in the same. It's wonderful. I was like, oh, we really can all get along. Like it's all right there. It's beautiful. It's all right there. Everyone. That felt like a speech in front of a bear right there, didn't it? He's like, this man brought unity to our fair town. Yeah, I like it. I like going to see all the little artsy things. I like seeing that. You know, we went and saw. I like going to. My wife brought my wife on this trip, and she likes going to like those little maker stores where there's like a bunch of plants in jars, and you know those stores where it's like there's like rocks and stuff, and then you can buy a rock, and then there's like there's like a lot of Buddha statues. I don't know if you've gone to them recently, but they've recently just started wedging in witchcraft out of nowhere. It's weird. You'll go in there and it's like someone in like a hippie dress, like, welcome, there's like essential oils. And then you'll be like, oh, okay. And then you'll see like a Buddha statue. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, Buddha. And there's just a book with a pentagram on there. And I'm like, I don't know if this is the store for witchcraft. Like, this is all peace and love. And like, I get my energy from the sun. Also, do you want to hex somebody? Would you like to, while you're buying that flower for your mother, would you also like a book on putting a hex on your neighbor? Would you like him to sneeze every time he turns on the TV and just drive him crazy every time? Would you like to do that? Page 37 right here. The Devil's Cookbook right here next to this Buddha statue. Like, I don't know. It doesn't maybe it makes sense, and I just don't realize it, but it looks off. It looks unsettling for sure. But yeah, came in the other day, came in on Thursday, went to some high-end dinner, and it's super fancy. Some of the best food we've ever had. We went to a fancy coffee shop where they had to smell the dirt. Like I've never had that. They're like, they let us know, just so you know, we're gonna bring the grounds out and you're gonna sniff it, and then once you approve it, you're gonna. And I'm like, wow, all right. And my wife was like, do we have to? And she asked what I was thinking. I was like, thank you for asking. And she's like, it's kind of the fun of it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's fun. And they brought the dirt out. And I was like, it was such a weird mix because we're sniffing coffee dirt going, yeah, I'll drink that. And then there's, right outside the window, there's a homeless person just, ah! And I'm like, yeah, make that two. I'll get a double. And it was like art in the wild, you know. But yeah, we went to a fancy restaurant, told them it was our anniversary. That's our go-to, by the way. That's a nice hack to get a free dessert. If you don't know, that's what you do. If you get a reservation for a restaurant, they're like, any special notes? It's our anniversary, all right? No one's going to check. No, you don't have to bring your wedding certificate. Merit, you don't have to prove it. You just go, it's our anniversary. They're like, oh my God. And they give you a free dessert most of the time, which also makes it weird at the end, because at the end they're like, would you like to see our dessert menu? And you're like, yeah, but. And then now it's a weird standoff with the waiter, because you told him it was your anniversary, and he's like, menu? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. We'll take a look, but let's just see what comes. You know? Let's see if you guys bring out a little ice cream with some chocolate drizzle that says happy anniversary at the bottom. I love doing that kind of stuff. I like going to nice restaurants. That's what I like to spend my money on. I want to see what people are eating, you know? I used to watch. I grew up poor in the trailer park. I like dinner. Like, I'm like Pavlov's dog when a microwave goes off. I'm like, oh, I gotta eat. Like, that's. I grew up on Hot Pockets and trash. I grew up on a meal where all your food was in compartments, kids cuisine, and it came in. Yeah. And then if you didn't microwave that at the right temperature, your dessert would melt into your entree. Like, that's the cuisine I'm used to. And I'm not rich, but I finally got out of being poor, and I'm like, never again. And I'm like, take me to the rich place, and we're gonna tell them it's our anniversary. And I'm like, yeah, now I just eat bone marrow. I eat bone marrow like a sociopath. Give me the bone marrow. I'm just drizzling. Do you have any idea what a psycho you should look like eating bone marrow? They took an animal's bones and sliced it down the middle, and we're just sucking out the juice from in between. And then we butter it. And in the back of my head, no more. This is so much better than kids' cuisine. Just suck it out. Sucking out bone marrow. Oh my God. So good. That's why I have high LDL cholesterol. I recently found that out. I have high cholesterol. I got my blood drawn because I got a health insurance finally after 20 years. And that was when I got kicked off my mom's. And then I was able to get my own this year. And my wife's like, you are getting a blood test. You're getting everything checked out. We got to see if you're all right. And so they took 20 years worth, and it was a lot. The lady had a basket of little vials. There was a backlog there of stuff they had to look at. And I haven't got my blood taken in 20 years, but then as soon as it was happening, I had a flashback. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just somebody. Like, it's not a medical procedure, even though it should be. Like, there's such a drop-off from, like, doctor to person taking your blood. There's such a drop-off. Like a doctor's like, I went to Yale for 8 years, and the lady taking her blood's like, I saw an ad at the bus stop. And I got some at-home DVDs, and then they just let me plug a real one. And every time I've gotten my blood taken, it was by somebody that looked like they were about to get fired, and they were ready to cuss everybody out on the way. They're like, it's coming today. Which arm do you want to do? That's how the procedure started. I sat down and like, which arm we doing? And I'm like, I'm not getting a tattoo. Like, this is a medical procedure. Be professional. And we picked this arm, and she's doing the blood, and I don't look at it. I don't have an issue getting a shot or taking my blood, but I don't watch. I just like look over there. Some people watch. Some people are like, yeah. I like to watch as it pumps out of there. And I think we should put those people on some kind of list of something. You know, like, I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to vote. We should just know who they are and what they do during the day. Yeah, I like to do that. Like, I don't think they should be allowed at parks, you know, like, and then we shouldn't tell them until they show up with the family, all the canoes on top. We're here for the park, and not you. Your family's allowed to go, but we don't trust you. Found out you like to watch it as it goes. And then she took out 20 vials, and then she's like, all right, now hold your finger here. And I had to be part of the healing process. It's like, are we even in a medical office? Like, no other procedure do you get done, or are you part of the bandaging? Like, no one's getting ACL surgery and then slapped awake and like, hey, put your finger here while we wrap up your knee. Like, dude, why am I a part of this? I should be no part of this. And then she wrapped me up. She's like, you can take that bandage off in 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be leaving this on for the rest of the day. Not only am I going to leave it on the first hour, I won't even put my arm down. I am going to walk around like this for the first hour. And then I'll finally go, I'm not taking this bandage off until I get out of the shower tonight. And my wife goes, don't bring that filthy bandage into this bed. And I'll be like, all right, are you sure? And then I don't want to be one of those people. I take it off too early, you know? I'm in the car. Has it been 20 minutes? And then just squirt. And I'm like, ah! My wife faints. I'm over there. I don't know what to do. I hit the wipers. They're going off wrong side of the window. It's just a disaster. That happened today because it rained today. Like, the rain you guys get is biblical, just out of nowhere. But the difference is you guys are in your cars. You know where I'm in a rental car, all right? I've had no experience with this car, so it's just whoosh, and I'm like, where are the wipers? And I'm on the freeway, and everyone drives like everyone drives so fast here. Everyone's just been up my ass, like the entire up my ass, the entire city. It's like they're just trying to drive everybody out of town. And I'm like, leave me alone. And so I'm on the freeway with a rental car, no horsepower, just trying to survive. Whee! Trying to get this thing to 70 so I don't get run over by a lifted truck with bullhorns on it. And then it starts raining, just psh, and I'm like, I can't see, and I couldn't figure it out. And I'm trying to hit the gas, I can't see, I couldn't figure out the wipers. The only thing I could do was hitting it, the manual, And I'm like, I can't get it. My wife's like, just leave it on. I'm like, it's not on. I'm cranking this bastard by hand. I'm over here doing this. And then I finally hit a button, and I looked and did the back mirror, and I'm like, no, dude, I need the front. The whole thing took like 45 seconds until I finally got on the front, automatic, full blast, and as soon as I did, it was over. It was over. As soon as I figured it out, they're like, no more rain. Everyone's gonna be just fine. So, it was upsetting, is what it was. And so yeah, I have high cholesterol, and yeah, because I got my blood taken. That was a little sidebar we took. We had a split in the creek, you see, and then we took a little side creek and made it back in. But yeah, they took my blood, and then last week, or 2 weeks ago, I was in Florida, and they called me on Friday, and they're like, hey, we got your blood results. You got to come in and talk to the doctor on Tuesday. And I was like, that's not good. I was like, that's not good, right? You normally, if everything's fine, you don't even call, right? Is everything okay? And they're like, we'll see you Tuesday. That's what they said. And I was like, what? I can't believe they would do that to somebody. Like, leave you for 4 days just in your own mind with what could it be? We need to see you Tuesday. Like, oh my God, does she even work Mondays? Like, who's this? Am I her first patient? Like, oh my God. But they have this thing now called My Chart where they actually post your blood results on this app that you can look at with your not medical degree. And so I was looking at my own blood results, trying to make heads or tails of any of this stuff. I don't know what hemoglobins are, triglycerides, LDL, CDL, HCV. I don't know any of this. I have a 2.75 GPA out of high school. I got nothing here. I'm like, I don't know. And thankfully, my wife's smarter than me, so she took the results and then she put them into Chat GPT. And Chat was like, you have a high cholesterol and you're anemic, which means low iron, which is that's an oxymoron. That shouldn't be, because you have high LDL, high cholesterol from eating too much red meat, and you have low iron from not getting enough red meat. That means I'm dying from both ends. All right. That means the cure is killing me, and that means I'm done. I'm done for. And I got sad. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And ChatGPT's like, yeah, you can't eat any more red meat. And I'm like, that's my favorite kind. And they're like, yeah, you can't have any more red meat and no more alcohol. You can't drink alcohol because that also lifts your LDL. And I'm like, what? But that's so, for my health, I can't do that. But then also for your mental health, they're like, you have to socialize. You have to go out and be around people. And so now I'm going to have to hang out with my friends. They're just sober, just stone cold sober in their backyard while they're eating cheeseburgers, drinking a beer, and talking about their boat. And I'm just going to have to pretend just sober. Oh, no. And then what? Oh, the propeller? Not the propeller. You know how hard that is to care about your friend's boat sober? That's what alcohol and red meat is for. You're like, what? The propeller? Oh! You can't even sell it now. Like, I can't reach that emotional range. What am I, Robert De Niro? I need help from meat and alcohol to connect with my friends. And so I was all bummed out. And then Tuesday comes around, and it's my doctor's appointment. And the day before, they actually hit me up, and they're like, hey, we got your appointment for tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I'm coming in. They're like, you can also just do a Zoom call and not come in. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. Because I was like, oh, if I do a Zoom call, I don't have to do that stupid thing where you wait in the first lobby for 20 minutes and then in the back office, and then 30 minutes after your appointment, the doctor finally comes in. I'm like, this is perfect. They can just call me when she's ready, right? That was my thought. And then at my appointment, the nurse called me, and I was like, hey, what's up? I'm ready. And he's like, oh, the doctor will be in just a second. Just hang tight. So it was the same scenario, except now I'm just in her laptop in the office, and I just have to wait. I'm just in my kitchen staring at my phone, and I'm just in there going, this is the same. Why couldn't she just call me when she's ready? And so it was weird. I couldn't live my life. I couldn't speak freely. I couldn't play my wrestling videos in the background. Because what if she comes in and it's like, Randy Savage off the top rope? Like, I don't want that in the background right before we have a medical conversation. So then she finally comes in and she's like, so we got your blood results. I'm like, I already know. I talked to ChatGPT. I get it. I'm dying from both ends. Both ends. My cure is my poison. I understand. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, ChatGPT said I have high cholesterol and low iron. She's like, you don't have low iron? And I was like, I don't? She's like, no. And your cholesterol's not that bad. And she's like, you have to compare all the scores. So, like, if you're high on one thing but low on another, they cancel them out like a grade point average. In high school, how you, failed algebra, but your wood shop, you got, an A. And then that's how blood works. Like, that Mantle clock just counted out that you'd never got Pythagorean's theorem, and it all just that's how blood works too. I didn't know that. And she's like, yeah, you're okay. You just have to you have to watch what you eat. She's like, what do you eat right now? And I'm like, just, whatever. And she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, wherever, like right now before I came on stage, I was just eating chicken wings and fries because that's what they had. All right. They're like, we have chicken wings and fries. I'm like, I'll do that. And she's like, yeah, you can't do that as much anymore. You got to be a little more strict about not eating certain things. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, and you could lift more weights, which apparently, I didn't know this, but lifting weights can help lower your LDL cholesterol. And it was something weird about a doctor, especially a female doctor, telling me that through the phone, where as soon as she said it, I just naturally went, oh, yeah, I can do that. I just naturally, bowed up a little bit. I'm like, I have a kettlebell in the... And so who knows? I'm trying. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to be more active. My wife and I started playing pickleball. That's good. Getting it. That's the right amount of exercise. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not... Because pickleball is the right amount. It's like ping pong, but a little more. Ping pong, that's a game. Tennis, you're like, good Lord, I'm not doing any of that. But pickleball's just right here. Just a little hey, little who, little okay. It's a wiffle ball, so it comes at you, and then it just slows right down, and you're like, right, finally, something my speed. I like that. You can hit it as hard as you want, but then the wiffle ball just, and you're like, right there. So my wife and I played our couple friend, and they beat us 3-0. They beat us in an hour. But not close. But we had fun. It was fun. We had a good time. And then on the drive home, my wife's like, wow, you were so good. And I was like, what are you talking about? We got our butts kicked. And she's like, no, but you were so good. You were around the court hitting the ball. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, I was a little turned on. And I was like, oh my God, is that how inactive I've been in front of you? That's how inactive I've been in front of my wife that for 45 minutes I went... And my wife was off to the side. Oh my God! Who's this Adonis? Who is this? I didn't know I married Mr. Olympia. Who's this guy? But yeah, as soon as she said that, I pieced together how my wife sees me. Her POV of what I do in a given day is just. Make one for me too. That's her vantage point. So for 45 minutes, she got to see. And she's like, whoa, his arms work. Wow. His knees bend. I didn't know that. Look at that bend in those knees. I brought my wife on this trip. She's actually been on the road with me the last 4 weeks. We go home in between, but thank you. We go home in between. But so it's not like we're a band where we're always on the road. People always ask that of comedians, like, oh, how long is this tour? And I was just Thursday to Monday. Like comedians are always technically on tour because it's just the weekends, and then we're home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of pretty much every week, and then we leave Thursday, and then we're back, whatever. And but my wife usually just skips the ones she doesn't want to go to and comes to the city she wants to go to. But we had 4 cities where she's like, I want to go to all of these, so she's been coming, and it's been she's been having a rough time. She's not a road dog like I am. I've been doing this for a long time. Like it's hard for her. Like she needs the hotel room to not be gross, and that is not on my rider. I've stayed in. This is the height of my career. Like I've never been at a higher level in my career than I have been. And she's like, this hotel's not that great. I'm like, you should have been here 10 years ago. All right. We would have been in line where someone's paying for their room with cash out of their sock. All right. I've stayed in so many hotel rooms. And she, because she's used to cleanliness like a normal human. And she's like, these carpets, do they vacuum these carpets? I'm like, probably not. They probably just give it a once over or something. They probably don't get in there. And she's like, you just walk on them barefoot? And I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing skin socks, and that I have callousy feet. I feel like that prevents any type of bacteria from coming through. I got some real hard spots on my feet that are pretty much like work boots. I think there's certain corners of my heel I think I could stomp a nail into a floor. But she doesn't have that. She has very nice, soft, supple skin, so I think the bacteria does go into her skin. Mine's been hardened over years of staying at Super 8s and the Howard Johnson Motel 6 and, the La Quinta, a 4-point Sheraton, which... 0 points, Sheraton. I don't know if you've ever stayed at a 4 points. I don't know when they were good, but it's been a while. It is fun. You ever go into a hotel and you're like, oh, they're going to change the brand of this one soon. This will not be a Spring Hill Inn and Suites soon. This will be a Ramada or a Best Western, right? It's one of those. I like that. I don't know. But now we're staying at a. It's fine. It's one of those hotels that, like, on the surface, you're like, this should be fine, right? And then you go in, you're like, not that good. It's just a little sticky. There's some sticky points. It's a little sticky. What? There's people. People are sticky. And my wife, she's like, oh, can you imagine why it's sticky? And it's like, well, we're in bed eating food that we brought. And I'm like, I got an idea. I think other people have been in this situation, and they dropped a piece of a Cinnabon on the carpet and then just rubbed it in with their bare foot. And guess what? The maid's vacuum ain't getting that up. That's just going to be a little bit of stickiness. That's going to be there for generations. That's why people, because I'm on the road all the time, people send me videos of, like, people that take black lights into hotels, and they're like, can you even imagine what any of these stains are? And I'm like, yeah, but get your mind out of the gutter. How much of that is just Cinnabon? I don't know about you guys. I eat filthy in a hotel room. I eat filthy in there because usually I'm alone. That's where I get to eat how I want to eat when I'm at home without my wife judging me. Because my wife and I, we like to eat, but, like, I like to, I'm not one of those, like, when my wife buys a little dessert, I'm like, yeah, let's crush it. And she's like, well, why don't we just have a piece and then we can have another one tomorrow? And I'm like, who is this for? We could just eat it all now and get another one tomorrow. Are we rationing for the war? What's going on right now? Let's eat the whole thing. I thought that's what we bought it for, that we're splurging. I want to just, that's what I want to do. Like, if we get some sort of cake at home, she'll be like, here's the slice. And I'll be like, nom, nom, nom. And then I'll go for another. She's like, oh, you're going for a second slice. I'm like, if you weren't here, I'd eat the whole cake. If you weren't here, I'd have no pants on, and I'd be in the living room with my cake, crisscross applesauce, nom, nom. 90s pro wrestling on YouTube. That's how I eat at a hotel. That's why those blacklight videos don't scare me. I was like, that was just a man having a retreat right there. That's all that was. That's all just local desserts jammed into the sheets. I don't know. Yeah, my wife has a thing called self-control. She has this thing where she can have a cookie and then just leave the plate of cookies. And I was like, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you just eat one cookie, leave all the cookies, and then just sit down and focus on the movie? Knowing that there's still a plate of cookies over there. I think we didn't finish what we started. I think you don't feel like a quitter? I feel like a quitter. Let's get in there, show these cookies who's in charge, you know? My wife recently got into baking. She made these delicious chocolate chip cookies, whole plate of them, and she gave me one, and then she ate one, and she's like, all right, and then she got out all this saran wrap, taped it up like a dead body, and then I was just like, no more cookies? She's like, no, you don't want to spoil your supper. And I was like, I don't care about supper. I can have a full meal after 9 cookies. I'll be all right. And then I went and took a nap. That was the only way I could get my mind off the cookies. I was like, I think I need to be unconscious. So I went in the bedroom and I took a nap. And then during my nap, she left to go get her nails done. And as soon as I heard the door close, I just sat up like the Undertaker, just... And I ran to the cookies. My brain was like, cookies! And my feet weren't even awake yet. I was stumbling down the halls, knocking pictures off the wall. I'm like, there's a plate of cookies. And I ripped the cellophane right off. I was smart about it. I didn't just eat from one pile. I picked it from different areas. So it just looked like we had less Jenga pieces when I was done. She's like, did you get into the cookies? I was like, what? God, I love cookies, man. They're so hard. They're so good. I could have had every cookie, and they're like, yeah, but have you had this one? And I'd be like, I want it. I've had cookies that weren't even good. I've finished entire cookies that I'm like, this is awful. And then they're so dry. What do you think? They're like a week old? They're like chipping my teeth. My wife's like, throw them away. I'm like, I mean, they're still cookies, for God's sakes. They're starving people. That's how I was raised in the 90s. If you were raised in the 90s, your mom definitely went, they're starving people in Zimbabwe or somewhere. And I remember that. And I'm like, that means I got to eat everything. That's why I go to the Husky section at JCPenney, because I know that they're starving children. I'm very happy to be in Austin. I'm happy to be in a happy town because this is a rough week, man. We lost Ozzy Osbourne and Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show, yeah, and Hulk Hogan, which he had a rough end, but he was like Mr. America all the way until like recently, and yeah, it's a bond. I don't know if you guys grew up wrestling fans. I grew up a wrestling fan, so it's just weird to watch your heroes die because it's like watching your parents get old. You're like, oh, it's coming for me, you know. And it was like the same week Hulk Hogan died. I hurt my back pulling my luggage out of an Uber. And I was like, oh, it's all crashing down. And it hurts inside. It's so dumb. That was his theme song. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this. He got in trouble because he said a racial slur in a sex tape. Thank you. This guy. This guy. I knew you weren't expecting me to say that out loud. Either that or you're like, I did not know that. What a bizarre place to learn that, right? And you're like, wait, why did people hate Hulk Hogan? Oh, he used a racial slur in a sex tape. What and what? What a weird time to use any slur, you know? And it was after everything's over. He's like, before I leave, one more thing. And the greatest part is the only reason that even came out, because the sex tape was out there, and then he sued to get it off. And he was the only celebrity to ever win a lawsuit to get his sex tape removed from the internet. I didn't even know they could do that, but apparently someone can just hit a button and you don't have to be on there anymore. And he won that lawsuit, but during the lawsuit, you know, they have like, there's like a court stenographer that writes down everything that happened in the video, and then there was the transcript, and people were like, he said what? Which also means that tape was out there on the internet for like a year or 2 years, and just people never went that far into it to find out what he said at the end. You know, people were always like, I'm done with this. I I need to go to church and drink milk. I got to get the hell out of here. This is not the match I thought I was watching. And that means no one which how embarrassing. No one even finished your tape. And that means that court stenographer was the only person ever, and she had to type it down. What a rough. That's not in the college brochure of that degree. Like, you know, if you're like, I'm going to go to school to be a court stenographer, it's like, ma'am, are you sure what you're getting into? Because sometimes an American icon will go down, and you gotta type the screenplay out, you know. So yeah, weird week, man, weird. But it was fun. Flew out yesterday. It was cool. My wife and I came out. Flew out. It was fun. Saw a lady praying, and I don't know if this is funny, but I saw it. I saw a lady pray on the plane for the peanuts that she got, and she was like just praying, and I'm like, but we're up here, like, isn't it more? Just look out the window, all right? Like, sorry, that was really stupid, and I shouldn't have said it out. I turned to my wife and I said that, and she goes, you shouldn't repeat that to anybody ever again. And I don't want her to be right, so I'm like, I'm telling the audience, and we're going to let the people decide. No, it's fun traveling with my wife. I like traveling with my wife because she's getting tired. This is her 4th week in a row coming on the road with me, and she's like, how do you do it? I'm like, I'm glad you respect what I do for this family. I'm out here, all right? Early morning Ubers, 5 a.m. Uber. You ever take a 5 a.m. Uber with a guy you can tell woke up 10 minutes ago? Just that smell. You can smell when a man woke up. Like, once you pass 35, you got to wake up for an hour and air all that out before... It's not even a brushing your teeth and mouthwash thing. There's just... once you pass the age of 35, there's an internal stink that builds in your body when we rest. When we slumber, there's just a bad dreams and stress, and you're like, the mortgage, and then you wake up and that stink has to come out. You gotta just be up for an hour, walk around, let your body air out. And he didn't. He woke up 10 minutes before he picked us up, and it was just, he hadn't even cleared his throat yet, you know? He hadn't even done the, like, he was just breathing in the car. Just, and I'm like, that guy just woke up. And that smell, it just reminded me of being driven to school by my friend's dad in the 90s, you know, and they're like, be good in school, and you're like, you know. It's not even a bad breath, it's just you're dying, you know, it's the internal, like your body's breaking down. I think after 35, you can't just get up and get out into life and be like, what's going on? You gotta take a lap, you know? That's why as you get older, you start having a back porch. That's what that's for. You wake up, you get that coffee, you sit on that back porch for about 45 minutes, get all that good stink out of there, then you brush your teeth, then you put on the shirt, you're like, now I can talk to the public. Wow.
Hey, you finished my YouTube video. Thank you so much. I am personally very proud of you. You know how to finish things you start. There's plenty more videos on my channel to watch if you haven't seen them already. Also, I'm on the road all the time, so come catch me live. Go to zoltancomedy.com to see my tour schedule. You can buy tickets through there, and only buy tickets through my website because there's scammers now that are upcharging people for tickets that aren't even good, that won't even get you in. Complete rip-offs. So only go to zoltancomedy.com, and thank you so much for watching my videos.
What's up, everybody? Yeah! We're here! What's happening? Thank you we packed it out on a Sunday. What's up, everybody? Yeah! This mall can't handle us. I love it. Did you guys have a hard time finding this place? I sure did. I parked on the wrong side. And then I'm like, how do you enter the building? And then so we walked around, like there's like a Chuck E. Cheese type thing down there. We walked around that side, then we came up. Now we're underneath, like where the underground parking is. And I'm like, I'm sure there's an elevator. And there kind of was, but they were hiding it. It was one of those elevators when you get in, you're like, wow, this might be the last elevator ride. And then it opened up, and I'm like, there's the Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club. of San Antonio, which is the biggest comedy club roof-wise I've ever seen. What did this used to be? Like a rock climbing gym? What were they doing in here? It just had padded floor and people were climbing, and now they're like, oh yeah, comedy club, that's what we're doing in here. It's a good mix, man. It's very nice to be here. I think the last time I was here was like 2 years ago, so it's very nice to be back. Thank you for helping me fill up the place. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Rui and I made the drive-in from Houston, and we stopped at Buc-ee's because that's like my favorite thing. Yeah, I love Buc-ee's. Is my favorite. I think that's where we should send people new to the country so they can get acclimated with what America's all about. Like, I was trying to think of it, like, what's the new Ellis Island? And I'm like, Buc-ee's. It should be, like, if someone's brand new from another country and they're like, what is America all about? I'm like, all right, come with me. We're going to go to a place between two big cities, and we're going to go to the biggest gas station known to man. It'll be in a small town. They'll have 1,000 employees, and you're like, I don't think there's 1,000 people that live in this town. Where the hell did these people come from? There's people in there singing, cutting meat. You can buy everything. There's a guy in a beaver outfit you can take a photo with. You can get a green novelty shirt with a cow on it that says, this heifer needs a vacation. That's a real t-shirt that I own. My wife hates it. I wear it a lot. All right? She hates that t-shirt. She tries to hide it from me, and I find it. Because it's neon green. It's hard to hide. But yeah, I went there. I just need to remember, the problem is I don't live out here, and I always forget to not eat the barbecue at the gas station because it gets me, you know. And I'm sure you guys grew up here, so you have the right bacteria in your stomach. You know how, like, when you go to another country and they're like, don't drink the water, you can't handle that. That's what it's like when I have the barbecue at Buc-ee's. Like, my stomach doesn't have the right enzymes to break that down. So I had a pulled pork sandwich at 3 o'clock, and I've been sipping ginger ale since, all right? It's been a problem. I'm just kind of nauseous, just kind of laying there. You know when you feel like that, and then you see other food, and you're like, if you show me food again, it's all coming out. Get the hell away from me. But yeah, injured. But it's a nice drive from here in Houston. A lot of nothing, nice and straight. Just speed limit 75, everyone's doing 100. I love it. Big trucks, bunch of flags. That is patriotism to another level. Just 5 versions of the American flag. Hell yeah. This one's to represent the police. This one's to represent the fire department. This is back when we only had 13 of them. Like, they got every version of the American flag, every tint, and then they got the yellow one, the Don't Tread on Me one with the rattlesnake, which is badass. I saw a big lifted truck with Don't Tread on Me flag, and then he used his blinker to change lanes, and I'm like, come on, man, you gotta... Are we outlaws or are we not outlaws? Truck looks like you drove out of Mad Max. Keep up with the character. Can't be over there checking your blind spot with a Don't Tread on Me flag. That doesn't work. Yeah. But it's fun. I like it, you know. I know we're in weird times and certain states are like, oh, but every time I go to a state, I'm like, I love it. I don't know. I get comfortable and I'm just like, yeah, I want some of this, you know. I want what you guys, I don't know what you guys do, but I want some. Like last night's show, there was like a dad, father of 5, kind of looked like you, like a burly dude that looks like he like hunts without a gun, you know? And I said that on stage. I'm like, you look like you hunt without a gun. People laugh like they did now. And after the show, he showed me a photo. He's like, I do hunt without a gun. And he hunts with like a spear, like a big knife on a stick. And I'm like, oh my God. I meant that as a joke, but that is how you hunt. You just chase down. And that's crazy because he likes my comedy. So I just picture this guy in the woods of Texas chasing down a wild boar with and then blood everywhere, and then he comes back to the campsite, just wiping blood off and pulls out his phone, and it's just me talking about cats or something. And he's like, oh, this guy, I like this guy. Still a little blood in my eyebrows there, but that made me feel good that someone that was hunting with a spear is into what I do. Isn't that, you ever do, like, someone came up to me and they're like, I have a PhD in psychology and I like the comedy that you do. And that made me feel so good because I never went to college. And I was like, that's like I kind of went, right? And she's like, what? I'm like, well, you did. She said she wrote a thesis paper on one of my jokes. And I was like, that's like I was there. And she's like, not really, but I was there. And I was like, don't take this away from me, all right? I had a 2.75 GPA at a high school. I need this. I don't have a college degree. I have a YouTube plaque. That's what I have. That's the only thing I have on my wall that shows people like know anything. I know how to upload. Still feeling nauseous. I feel it. Yeah, you might want to pull that back a little. I love doing everything on the table. You're like, well, let me protect the beer. Not going to ruin a Dos Equis because this guy doesn't know to stay away from the gas station barbecue. It is weird that I go eat the meat over there. Like, it's a gas station, and it's named after a beaver, and they're selling meat, and I'm like, what could go wrong? I love it. They sing in there, I-ho, we chop the meat. I don't know the song, but they sing. There's such good employees over there. Where do they find those people? I don't know, because it's such a small town. Like, do they import them in? Do they? Like, they have a shuttle, and then they... Wow, like airport employees. Like, they shuttle them in. That's incredible. They must be from somewhere. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that's ever thought of that, because it's the smallest town ever, and it's the biggest store I've ever seen. And you're like, where the hell do these people come from? Are we sure they're people? Are they not like, if you look close, is there like a Tesla tattoo on the back of their neck? I-ho. I don't know. That one's a cyborg. There we go. That's all right. Is that something you get in a phone call? Oh, yeah? That's all right. You can answer it now. You're so polite, you pulled it right off. A lot of times there's alarms that go off at my shows because my audience takes medication. And different types of medication, blood pressure, whatever, I don't know, whatever kinds of meds there are. And so it's always fun when that goes off. It's like, oh, this is the time you take your meds. And they're always at weird times, like 8:49. And you're like, what a weird time. It has to be specific. If I don't time this out right, then I'll nod off before I get home. Because that's what I need. I drug myself every night with an edible. They put weed in gummy bears, which I know is illegal here, so we'll keep it down. I didn't know it was. I brought it up in Houston. They're like, that's not legal here. And I'm like, oh, it isn't? Even the gummy bear kind? And they're like, yeah, it's all illegal. You can't do it. And then someone in the back was like, the only thing legal here is guns. And I was like, all right. Well, what if you put the gummy bear, like, into the gun? Because then can you... Because then that's like a Second Amendment issue, right? Like, that's not... Second Amendment says right to bear arms. It didn't say what I got to load it with, all right? If I load it with the 10 milligram sativa, that's what the forefathers would have wanted, all right? They want me to giggle before I fall asleep. There's fun, man. Scary times out there. I was watching all the stories about the drones. Have you been seeing that? There's drones in like New Jersey and New York, and people know nothing about it. And the FBI even asked for like people. They're like, if anyone has any information. I'm like, you're the FBI. You have all the information. Dude, they're drones. Just go to the park, find the dork. Like, it's not that hard. I know what he's going to look like. Is there a Honda Fit nearby? He came out of that. I think it's so funny that they can't find these drones. Just follow them, dude. They'll go down and be like, that's the guy right there. Some shifty guy. It's like drones are like what laser pointers used to be in the late 90s. Remember laser pointers? You could like annoy your teacher or try to blind Kid Rock at a concert, you know? And people would be like, where the hell's that laser pointer coming from? And just someone in. That's what's going on with these drones. Some dork at a park. They'll never find me. I'm on the lam. They'll find the drones if it ever goes after a CEO or something. Then it would be like, we found it in 2 seconds. They found the guy, which is a good thing. I'm glad they found the guy. But they had so much footage of that shooter. And I lived in New York, and a lot of people got shot every day. And they're like, we have no evidence. And when that dude got shot, they had angles I'd never seen before. They're like, oh, he left on an e-bike, then took a left, then he took a right, and then we had a GoPro out of the sewer. We saw him. You and me get shot. They're like, he was on an e-bike. That was too fast. Like, what do you want us to do? That guy's gone. He's out of state by now. That stuff matters, man. But yeah, I'm happy to be on this trip. It's nice to get a break from home because we just went through a move. We moved from New York back to San Diego. And so now it's just my wife's loving it. She's decorating the new place we moved into, and I'm just trying to get rid of the boxes and the styrofoam. That's the job as a man. New stuff comes in, and then she's like, isn't this great? And I'm just looking at the box going, we don't have room. So I'm just storing trash. That's what I'm doing. I'm storing trash, and I hate it. I hate all of it. I don't like who I'm becoming. I don't know. Is anyone else going through that? Like, you see who you're becoming, and you're like, this wasn't the plan. Like, I grew up poor in the trailer park, and life's going better now, but I don't like what's happening. Like, now I live in the suburbs. We own a Tesla. I wear barefoot shoes now. You know those shoes, they have like no sole. They're supposed to be good for your back and your posture and your foot health. And they have less material than regular shoes, but they cost 3 times as much for some reason. And they cost that much because they know if you have time, just click on that ad. They're like, you have some money to burn. Why don't we sell you some thin rubber shoes for no reason? And we got a juice cleanse, and we were heading to pick up a juice cleanse while in a Tesla, and I looked at my barefoot shoes, and I turned to my wife, and I'm like, I think I hate myself. Who the hell is this guy? This was never the plan. And then we got to the place for the juice cleanse, and our juice cleanse wasn't ready. They said be there by 2, and we showed up at 2:45, and they're like, oh, it's not ready yet. My wife and I were like, can you believe this? And she was about to say something. Then I looked down at my shoes and saw the Tesla, and I was like, no, baby, we're the villains here. This is classic villain right here. Nothing wrong with the real estate agents. They're good people, but that's not. What do you do?
Oh, here we go.
Homeschool mom and a newspaper reporter. And an army wife. Good Lord, that's a hell of a business card. You got to flip that card over and read the rest on the back. That's impressive. Why, and a news reporter. I'm glad this show's going well. There might be an article in the San Antonio How Do You Do about... I don't know what your newspaper is called. The San Antonio Tribune. What is it called? The Express. Sounds like a bus or something. The San Antonio Express. I like it. That's so cool. You're a reporter. In Killeen? I've been there. That military base town. Yes. I did a show out there. It wasn't on a military base. It was at a nightclub. This was like over a decade ago. It was in a nightclub, and they had a giant dance floor, and they made a stand in the middle, and I thought they would put chairs on the dance floor. They didn't. They had people hang out. They horseshoed around us like I was singing the national anthem at a hockey game. And we had to do comedy with the audience and it did not go well. I will tell you that right now. Killeen, Texas. That was, oh man, what a blast. Yeah. I remember there was like a strip club really close to an elementary school. Is that... I brought that up. And no one seemed to be bothered by it, all right? Right in the middle of the dance floor, I'm like, hey, you guys got that strip club pretty close to that school? And they're like, what of it? And I'm like, all right, dude. I want to get out of here with my life. Oh, I'm so glad I talked to you, because you made me remember a really vivid memory. It was so hard to get out there. Oh, the check bounced. I remember that. It wasn't a big check. It was $400, but $400 to me then was like $4 million. So I was like, please send it again. But yeah, clean text. Thanks for making the drive out to come see me. I appreciate that. That's a hell of a laugh. Whoever's got the good, it's a good chuckle. Never lose that. Look at you. You finished a YouTube video. I'm proud of you. You know, I normally don't finish YouTube videos. I watch 30 seconds, then I'm on to something else, then I grab something to eat, but not you. You're not a quitter. And I appreciate that. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And also go to zoltancomedy.com and see where I'm performing. Come see me live. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm in a rental car. This is where I live. Hotels, rental cars, highways, byways, planes, trains, and automobiles. This is supposed to be a short video. Thank you for watching. zoltancomedy.com.